This is going to be my outlook for the week that starts on the 27th of March 2023. So levels I'm looking at this week, let's see. So I'll start off with where we are and then sort of go up. So I've got Q2 base, obviously coming from 23rd of March 2022. Spoke about that a lot. Daily range high still marked out from here on the 28th. All this reaction here, I know some people have it marked up from like this support, this resistance, but all of this here I'm seeing as a reaction to this level here. So yeah, not as in sort of new levels forming here. This is just sort of reaction to what's happening left. So above that, daily support resistance, got that coming from the wick high on the 4th of May 2022. Reaction all the way through here. Tapping into it more recently there. And then we can see through here, we've sort of formed daily resistance into it here and formed support above there. So still relevant in my eyes. And then above that, the next level that I'm looking at is the daily resistance / 4-hour support resistance level that goes all the way through here. So that was sort of obviously this daily resistance here. Then we can see the reaction on the dailies sort of through here. And on the 4-hour, that was the sort of top end of our really solid sort of dead range here on the 4-hour. Then we're sort of still seeing reaction to it here. Above that, last level I'm going to go over this week is sort of where we've been seeing big rejections from on the daily. Key daily support resistance coming from the 14th of April 2022. So looking to the downside, below the Q2 base, I'm looking at this level here, which is one that I've actually changed since last week. So this is a 4-hour support resistance level next to a monthly support. So obviously we've got the monthly support here. So I've just marked out the low, or yeah, just the sort of candle body support on this level here. Then going to the 4-hour, I marked out this support here. And because these levels were two sort of really close to each other, I think we've only got like 22 pips. I've just sort of marked them out as a zone. You can see we've sort of seen reaction to it all the way across here, and then more recently we tapped into it here, and then we sort of broke it here. So this is a level that I might end up adjusting, but for now I'm sort of happy with how I have that marked out. Before I had it marked out a little bit lower, I think, but yeah, I'm happy with that for now. And then below that we have 4-hour support resistance. We sort of identified that as soon as we sort of formed resistance here, then tapped into it here. So I've had that marked out for a while now. I'm still sort of very I'll still keep my eye on this level. And then below that we got the monthly resistance I've got marked out from here. So the 3rd of May 2021, or was it, yeah, the May 2021 highs there. We see reaction all the way across here. I spoke about why I have it marked out here instead of here in like maybe like 3 outlooks ago. So if you give a shit about that, go and watch that. But yeah, I'm not going to go, I'll say this every fucking week. I'm not really going to go into scenarios. One of the things that I did find sort of kind of interesting is on the 4-hour here. We've obviously started to break down into this level that we've seen rejections from many times on the daily. Then start to pull back on the 4-hour. So is this just a pullback for another sort of, even though we've got the close down here now, is this a pullback for another sort of rejection to then form support back above here and sit in this daily range again? Or are we going to sort of form resistance here on the 4-hour and then start bouncing between the ranges that I've talked about before? Because I'm seeing this still as 3 ranges. So you got 1, 2, 3. So I'm thinking, is this sort of pullback here going to form resistance at the Q2 base here? And then we'll start seeing something like this in our range 2, and then sort of either sit in that or then break back up, or sit in that and then break down, and then start playing sort of range 3 or range 1. So that's the only real thoughts I have at the minute in terms of what's going on. I don't want to go obviously too macro or too sort of lower time frame either, but that's my main thoughts going into this week here. It'll be interesting to see what we're doing. Obviously the majority of my planning coming from a session to session perspective, focusing on the 2 sort of, or the 4-hour bias sort of going into the session. Then in terms of all these higher time frame levels here, I have no interest trading within these. It's just sort of what I'm looking at in terms of my plan at the minute. But I think if you have volume, there's sort of no reason why other people can't. I think it's sort of, it can make sense. So data releases going into the week. So a fairly light week, to be honest. There's nothing that I really need to plan around, but a few things we'll go over. So obviously Sunday today, we've got the clocks changed in the UK. That means the 4 hours going sort of realigned with the US 4-hour, meaning the 4-hour open goes back to 6 AM UK. Tuesday, fairly light session with the German IFO business climate. Obviously I've written down here, without going into depth, it's one of the leading indicators of economic health. sort of in Germany. You can see why there, because businesses react very quickly to the market conditions. Any change in their sentiment could be an early signal of spending, employment, investment sort of going on. It has a very large sample size, and it's one of the sort of one of the most highly respected sort of surveys there is in terms of sort of German economic indicators. Tuesday, Bailey speaking at sort of late in the session. He's going to be talking about the collapses of the SVB. Other than that, not a lot going on. We have some JPY stuff going on at 6 a.m. So then Wednesday, so not a lot going on. We got some GBP stuff sort of here and there, but nothing sort of major that I need to plan around. Thursday, we have nothing that I need to plan around either, but we have the German prelim CPI month-to-month. It's an all-day event, and that's because the numbers are coming from 6 different German states, and then obviously the numbers from those 6 different states in about 15 days, 15 days, they get used to sort of make up the final number. So this is the sort of, obviously the preliminary number that's made up from these sort of 6 different states, and then the final number comes out in 15 days, or roughly 15 days. Then we have Spanish flash CPI. So obviously with a lot of data releases, you can see, I'll probably find one here. Like you see, we have final, flash. So you have flash and final with a lot of things. Flash is basically an estimate that's sort of derived from incomplete data. So the incomplete data, they have roughly like 80% of the sort of data they need, and then they sort of take that and then they obviously put out an estimate. So usually the flash is relatively accurate. So this is what sort of causes the bigger reaction. And then when the final comes out, obviously that's the final. That means they have all the data. Then there's not usually as much of a reaction to that because people already know what's going on from the flash estimate. So we've got that going on sort of during our session. So that could cause a reaction on GJ. And then Friday, a fairly busy day. We've got some Euro sort of flash estimates coming out. ECB president speaking. Sort of there's no time for that at the minute. Then we've got some GBP stuff going on as well. So nothing that I'd really need to plan around, but sort of stuff going on throughout the whole session. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at in terms of my outlook. So that's it. Sweet. Cheers.